Hey, what's good? Well, we're a couple of months in, and it's been a wild ride so far, to say the least. So let's see what ChatGPT thinks about Trump's first month in office. This is the I Ask AI channel with I Let AI Rate Trump's first month in office, and here's the score. I'm going to be working on this animation. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get some clothes I think would look good on you. Let's go. All right, here we go.
Hey everyone, on this channel I use AI to break down complex topics like politics without bias or emotion. Now it's the end of February, which means that we've officially survived the first month of Donald Trump's presidency. I just want to congratulate us, guys, only 47 more months to go. But alright, let's not get bummed out and jump right to the point. Today, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to break down Donald Trump's first month in office, figure out what the worst and the best things that he's done so far are, and give his first month an honest score from 0 to 10. And at the end, I'll ask it to make a little prediction about what we could expect from the second month of his presidency. Alright, here we go. First, I need to ask it to gather up all the information about Donald Trump's first month in office so that we can get accurate answers. And once that's done, I'll jump into the first question. So, ChatGPT should be clear, straightforward, unbiased, and everything else that you see on the screen right now. First, let's ask it to refresh our memory and give us a full timeline of Donald Trump's actions, orders, and decisions during his first month, and it's probably going to be a long one, so here we go. Trump's first month back in office has been relentless, with a pace that feels more like a campaign rally than the start of a presidency. From day one, he unleashed a flood of executive orders, 65 in the first month alone. These covered everything from serious economic measures to bizarre cultural battles. He reinstated tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum, a move cheered by some U.S. manufacturers, but one that's already pushing prices higher for consumers. He banned transgender athletes from competing in women's sports, calling it a fairness issue, but it sparked fierce debates and legal challenges. He also formed a task force to fight what he calls anti-Christian bias in the federal government, appealing directly to his evangelical base. One of the more head-scratching moves was banning paper straws in federal agencies, which feels like a petty swipe at environmental policies. Early in the month, Trump announced the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, placing Elon Musk in charge. At the Justice Department, things got messy fast. Trump pushed out key officials, demanded that the FBI hand over the identities of agents involved in investigating the Capitol riot, and ordered the department to sue the New York Attorney General, who had successfully prosecuted him for fraud.
Remember, this is a guy that said he wasn't going to weaponize or whatever, or retaliate or whatever.
To a wave of resignations and growing fears about Trump's influence over law enforcement and the judiciary. Yeah. On the cultural front, Trump has taken a wrecking ball to what he sees as liberal dominance. He renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, an almost cartoonish move that sparked mockery but delighted his base. He's pushed for patriotic education.
That whole thing reminds me of when he changed the weather pattern map.
Schools, cutting any teachings about systemic racism or gender diversity. Funding for the arts has been slashed, especially for projects by marginalized groups, and his administration is using lawsuits and regulatory threats to go after media outlets that criticize him.
Let you know, I'm making some movies, and I'm going to be going to the government to look for funding, because if they're going to be funding things all around the world, yeah, it's about time you start funding more American things. If you're trying to spread American culture and American vision, I guess, it's time for you to invest back in us.
Kennedy Center and National Endowment for the Arts have already seen significant cuts, with Trump making it clear that taxpayer money won't fund what he calls leftist propaganda. Economically, the outlook is already shaky. Inflation, which many hoped would ease, is getting worse. Trump's tariffs are driving up costs for everything from cars to canned goods, and his strict immigration policies are reducing the labor force, which means higher prices for services and goods. The promise to make life more affordable is already falling apart, and economists warn that if these policies continue, GDP growth could slow significantly, hitting lower-income Americans the hardest. In foreign policy, Trump has wasted no time asserting himself. He's announced a planned meeting with Vladimir Putin, raising alarms about what concessions might be on the table. He's pushing for a new nuclear deal with Iran, but with the threat of military action if they don't comply. He's also taken a hardline approach with allies, threatening to cut aid to Egypt and Jordan over the Gaza conflict and demanding that Ukraine hand over resource rights in exchange for continued U.S. support. Public opinion is as polarized as ever. Trump supporters are thrilled with his fast action and unapologetic style, seeing him as delivering on his promises without delay.
You see, you can't be upset because he's in here doing what the people asked him to do, or what he convinced people they needed. Unfortunately, they're wasting a lot of time on silliness and just creating chaos. But, from what we understand, that's part of the playbook anyway. They're gonna, what was it that old boy said? Muzzle velocity. So it's in accordance to what he said. Just like in the campaign trail, all the parts that they don't show you where he's talking ignorant and he's saying all those mean things, all that stuff is happening too. And they said, oh, don't take his word for it. He's just, okay. The thing that you guys need to start to understand is he's going to tell you what he said this. He has said this. He's going to say whatever it is to get your vote, and he's going to do what he wants to anyway. He's going to do what's best for him, and in turn, what's best for his friends. He doesn't care about you. None of these guys do. None of these guys care about how much you have left over for groceries. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your kids so much that the majority of us whose kids are out here, their schools are underfunded. The majority of you.
Critics are horrified, calling his moves authoritarian and reckless. The country feels even more divided than before, and it's only been a month. Oh, wow, was there really that much? All right, well, it seems pretty accurate, but let me quickly ask, did Trump deliver on his promises or not? Just a quick answer so that we can move on. If you're looking at it from the angle of whether Trump delivered on his promises in his first month back, the answer is yes, to a significant degree. He promised aggressive action, and that's exactly what he's done. GPT says that he delivered most of them, though to be fair, they were pretty silly, but okay. Now let's ask the tricky question. And by the way, feel free to jump into the comments and share your answer right now. What do you think was the best thing that Donald Trump did as president so far? Go ahead, pause the video, and take a guess. But now let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Honestly, there's not much good to pick from. But if I had to,
Again, I don't have a problem with Doge, but if you're going to start anywhere, why didn't you start at the Defense Department? We know for a fact that they waste money. We know for a fact that they lose billions of dollars. So start there. And then if you want to come and do USAID and all that stuff, it is what it is. But we all know that those kids over there be playing with money, serious levels of money. And we know through history that it's a shady situation. There's a lot of people making a lot of money over there. And of course you're not going to send Doge over there because Elon is one of those people.
For infrastructure improvements like fast-tracking certain long-delayed projects might be the most positive. Even that feels rushed though. To be honest, I don't really remember anything like that. Did he actually do that?
I don't remember.
Apologies for the earlier oversight. Upon reviewing recent actions, President Trump has not initiated infrastructure improvements this month. Instead, his administration has paused funding for several infrastructure projects approved during the previous administration, including those under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Additionally, the administration has suspended.
So you know what infrastructure is, right? So they're talking about building roads and fixing bridges and bringing internet to rural America so you guys can actually do research and not continue to watch Fox News that has been sued and lost for being a pack of lies.
The $5 billion National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, which aimed to build electric vehicle charging stations. These actions have led to delays and uncertainty in various infrastructure initiatives. Well, all right, but I actually wanted to know if there's anything good that he's done. I mean, it's kind of funny, but seriously, was there even one good thing that he did this month?
Nope.
No, Trump hasn't done anything notably good this month. Most actions were rushed, controversial, or harmful.
Muzzle velocity.
All right, then. Let's go on with that answer, but sorry, I just have to.
It might not be anything good, but he definitely he pulled a bunch of restrictions on all this cyber criminal stuff that you guys keep falling for. He's pulling off all the rules to keep you from losing your ass, and look what's happening. All these people are going into these Bitcoin things, and there's a lot of people losing money. If that's how you want to do it, it is what it is. But remember that it's the Democrats that are trying to put situations in place, or they're trying to put agencies in place that will help you through that will help you get away from the addiction of gambling. These people are taking advantage of you. If you have an addictive personality and you start to fall in love with gambling, which it feels good, I don't personally gamble, but I've been there and I know the rush of excitement and all that stuff. But it's the other side that is putting these organizations in place that can help you through that addiction. These guys are trying to take away all the rules so you lose your ass. And then after you lose your ass, we've heard a lot of stories about gamblers losing their houses and their cars and their lives fall apart and all that stuff. We've seen it. But you guys continue to vote for that. You guys don't mind seeing Americans struggle. You guys don't mind. It's not you guys, not all you guys. There's some of you guys that just don't care. I've had conversations with people like that. Oh, we don't know if they get screwed. That's just because they're dumb. Oh yeah, but then when they become homeless and start pooping in the streets, then you guys are going to start talking about all the people pooping in the streets. Meanwhile, it's the other side that's been trying to put things in place to keep people from pooping in the streets.
Push it to pick something. I'm just curious what it'll say, so let's see if it can come up with anything at all. If I had to pick something, it would be Trump's ban on paper straws. While petty and unnecessary, it was nearly harmless compared to the more damaging policies he's implemented this month. In a sea of decisions that threaten democracy, global stability, and economic well-being, banning paper straws feels insignificant. It's almost laughable that this even made it onto his agenda, but at least it won't upend lives or destabilize nations.
So the best thing he did was not all the way mess up. Okay,
banning paper straws was the best thing that Trump's done so far. Well, maybe. I think we can roll with that.
Attaboy, way to get things done.
About the worst thing that he's done this month, and I have a feeling that this one's going to be tough, but for a different reason. So let me know what you would pick in the comments down below. All right, here we go. Here's ChatGPT's answer. There's no shortage of bad decisions this month, but the most alarming is Trump's approach to Russia. With many controversial moves, from banning transgender athletes, threatening neighbors with tariffs that raise prices, cutting funding for marginalized arts programs, and interfering with the Justice Department, his handling of Russia stands out because it doesn't just affect the US, but threatens global stability. Trump's push for direct talks with Putin, while immediately refusing Ukraine's NATO membership, has already caused damage. This decision leaves Ukraine without a key bargaining chip, undermines their defense, emboldens Russia, and leaves Europe on edge. Trump's actions put the entire continent at risk, and a destabilized Europe means a less secure, less powerful U.S. His short-sighted diplomacy erodes trust, empowers adversaries, and puts millions at risk. Allies feel abandoned, enemies feel emboldened, and the
Delusions
balance
of
of global
grandeur,
power
it's
is
called.
already shifting in dangerous
Like,
ways.
we're good. America's good. We're good at fighting. We're good at wars and stuff like that. But we are nothing without our homies. You know how difficult it would be to do anything around the world without NATO, without countries that are on our same side?
All right, so that was the worst of Trump's actions according to ChatGPT. And now I think it's time to ask for the score that it gives Donald Trump's first month in office. So now it's time to find out ChatGPT's honest score for Donald Trump's first month in office, and here it is. Trump's first month back has been chaotic, reckless, and driven more by political theater than careful governance. He's pushed hard to satisfy his base with culture war moves like banning transgender athletes and slashing funding for marginalized groups, but those actions deepen divisions rather than solve real issues. His economic decisions, like threatening neighbors with tariffs, sound pro-American, but will likely hurt the very people he claims to protect by driving up prices. Interfering with the Justice Department for personal gain sets a dangerous precedent, showing he prioritizes loyalty over the rule of law. But his approach to Russia is the most troubling.
That's
ignoring
very
European
normal.
allies and treating Ukraine like a bargaining chip has already weakened U.S. alliances and emboldened
like this at all.
adversaries. This month feels more like a campaign rally than leadership, with short-term wins at the expense of long-term consequences. My score, 2 out of 10. Aggressive but thoughtless, with more harm than good. 2 out of 10? Ooh, it couldn't find a good thing that he's done. I mean, why not 0? I just want ChatGPT to explain why it gave a 2, so let's find that out. I gave him a 2 because he acted decisively and kept his promises to his base. He didn't stall or backtrack. He pushed his agenda hard. Even if I disagree with most of his actions, he showed political strength and control. All right, got it.
Control.
He delivered on his promises
But
to his
tantrums
base.
are not-
So I guess that counts as a good thing for them.
Chicago,
Okay,
too.
now I'm going to ask ChatGPT what it expects from Trump's next month in office so we can get a little prediction, and here's the answer. Next month, I assume Trump will continue his aggressive approach, but he's unpredictable when it comes to the details. It's likely he'll escalate trade tensions, possibly extending tariff threats to European allies, which could trigger retaliation. More budget cuts in science, healthcare, and environmental programs seem probable, though which specific areas he'll target is hard to predict. He'll almost certainly push his cultural agenda further, possibly cracking down harder on
They're
media
using the
and
cultural
reshaping education
agenda
policies. On the foreign policy front, I expect bold
to
moves,
set things up
especially
for
with
a bunch of
Russia and
cons.
Ukraine, though Trump's unpredictability makes the exact steps unclear. Domestic challenges with Congress, even with his own party, will likely grow, causing legislative gridlock. Protests and public unrest will probably increase as his policies start affecting more people. While the overall direction seems clear, Trump's impulsive style means the specifics could surprise everyone. All right, but honestly, that sounds a little vague to me. Maybe we should ask it to come up with something specific that it thinks Trump will do next month. Maybe something unexpected. I don't know, just something that we can look back on later to see if ChatGPT was right or not. So let's ask about it, and here's the final answer.
Here we go.
I think there's a strong chance Trump will take action on abortion next month. He's already
boy.
reinstated key anti-abortion policies, and with growing pressure from his base, further restrictions seem likely. He might target abortion pills or support stricter state laws. Given his unpredictable nature, it's hard to say exactly when, but momentum is building for him to act soon.
All right. Well, that's where ChatGPT. That's what ChatGPT thinks about Trump's first 100 days, was it? First month, first 30 days, 31 days. Yeah, pretty dead on. Everything that he has been doing seems to be everything that, Project 2025 had in there, all of this. They were definitely prepared. They came in, they had a battle plan, and they started knocking things out. Boom, boom, boom. according to everything that he was saying on his campaign trail, even though he tells you guys things and he lies to you in your face. So he's in here doing it, doing what you guys asked him to do. And we'll see how it goes. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with each and every one of your friends. And if you want to come hang out with me and watch videos while I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button. And then change the little bell icon so it says all, so that way every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.